This is the Vet Alumni Podcast with Tek Prem.
It's the Vet Alumni Podcast. I'm Tek, he's Prem, and Eagles training camp, what we've all been waiting for, it has begun, finally.
Football is around the corner. In less than 6 weeks, the Philadelphia Eagles will be raising their second Super Bowl banner.
I am so excited about the Eagles being back. I need it.
Me too. Well, we do because baseball kind of, it's fun. It's a long season. Gets a little stagnant. But with the Birds, what I've been hearing from these first couple days that I really like is that all these guys are resigned to the fact that last year's last year. This is a different team.
Love it. Yeah.
They're not worried about if they're champions or not champions. They're just trying to be the best version of the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles.
It's the truth. I love Jalen Hurts coming out. I'm not wearing a ring.
It's phenomenal.
You know, that's at home.
he was with Jordan for a couple weeks in Greece, and I'm sure they had conversations where Jalen probably straight up asked him, "Yo, like, how did you repeat? What can I do to pull this off?" And Jordan probably said something to the effect of, "Act like you ain't won anything."
Yeah, it's true. And then they had the guy he trains with. And he was asked, what with Jalen? I mean, what now that he's? I think it was with Rich Eisen. So now that he's won the Super Bowl,
Rich Eisen's great, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
He's as logical as they come.
I enjoy Rich Eisen, and he's one guy out of all these national guys that actually understands how great the Eagles are and how great Jalen Hurts is, the greatness of them.
It's refreshing.
It is.
And we grew up with Rich.
Yeah. I like Rich Eisen. A lot of people are down on him. I like Rich Eisen. And he had the trainer on, the guy that trains with Jalen. He trained with Tom Brady.
Oh, okay.
And trained with, this guy has been around.
He's a champion's trainer.
Yeah. So, so now that Jalen's gotten over the hump and he's won on the biggest level, what does he bring now? I mean, and he was like, well, look, when a guy wins it all and he's most concerned with in training about the littlest details, he said that's the kind of stuff that Kobe and Jordan and those guys did.
Nothing slides.
No.
Nothing can slide. And I saw an image of Jalen after practice just walking the field barefoot, alone.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
Because
I love that. He lives and breathes.
He's a nut.
He's not distracted off the field. He's not out partying. He's not at the strip clubs. He's not drinking. He's not doing anything stupid. Yeah. He's just truly a champion in every sense of the word. And we saw this early on. We talked about this before anybody was talking about it.
Yes.
The vibe. We should go back and get some clips from like 2021.
Absolutely.
We saw this in this kid. There was something you couldn't explain.
With Barchard, because Barchard saw it too. We used to talk about it with Barchard about how this kid is going to be the franchise quarterback. He's different.
There's just something in the air when he speaks. There's something in the atmosphere around him.
Yeah, it was the intangibles. We would always cite the intangibles that we saw right away. He's got this like hunger, the way he talks.
Isn't it crazy? Some guys they don't have the ability to see that stuff.
Look, and some people still don't. They
still don't. That's more what I call that, bro. And I put this on our X account. I call that the pride of the take. So when you have a take,
even Orlovsky just recently flipped.
Yeah, well, Orlovsky saw the light because he's no dummy. He was a quarterback. He's no dummy.
Exactly.
The pride of the take is like if you have a take and it just turns out to be ice cold. Instead of saying, look, I was wrong, this guy's the real deal.
You stick with it.
You try to, make your take work with revisionist history.
Yes.
The pride of the take. It runs rampant, especially with these national guys.
Like even Cam Newton right now.
Oh, it's disgusting. You see Gilly go off on Cam?
And Gilly's got Listen, Gilly's 100% right on this. He's right about it. It's
I was getting fired up watching Gilly go off on that.
When Cam said something, I don't know when this was. I don't know if it was the other day when he came back at everybody saying, "Well, he's talking about everyone's talking about what Jalen has that I don't have." Well, we could talk about what I have that Jalen doesn't have. It's like, well, what do you have that Jalen doesn't have?
Right. You guys run the same
that Jalen hasn't done.
You don't have a Super Bowl. You're both Pro Bowlers. You both our athletic style quarterback.
He was the MVP, but hey, Jalen was Super Bowl MVP on the biggest stage.
I'll take that any day of the week.
Me too.
Any day of the week. Because look, Lamar Jackson, what's he got? 3 MVPs? What does that amount to?
I saw somebody, I don't know his name, on Twitter, X, whatever, say Lamar Jackson is tiers above Jalen Hurts.
What a joke.
Maybe Lamar Jackson is above Jalen Hurts
Not by much.
in the quarterback power rankings.
Not by much, though.
But not tiers, bro.
No.
Not tiers.
No.
That's just
I think
asinine.
they're both top 5 guys, and some people have Jalen as top 10. Ho-hum. I don't really care.
I have him 5.
I think he's the 5th best quarterback in
Me
football.
too. And
when you look at everything, including intangibles.
If somebody wanted to make a diehard argument and go tit for tat with me and say Jalen's number 6, fine.
Take it.
I'll bow out.
Whatever.
But I'm not going any lower than 6 for Jalen Hurts.
And when you win a
rankings.
Super Bowl and you're the Super Bowl MVP, and now you've been to 2 Super Bowls, you've only started for 4 years, you've been to the playoffs every year you've started.
Every year.
At what point do people got to realize that we don't care where he's ranked?
No.
I don't care. If people...
he shouldn't care. I don't think he does care.
No, he doesn't care because this is all subjective.
Just keeps the chip on his
he's
shoulder.
He's just worried about... Yeah, and ironically, he's worried about getting more chips.
Yes, and this is the thing that I feel about Jalen Hurts, okay? I said right away, and a lot of people that I talked to thought it was a surprise hearing me say it, but I'll say it again.
What, is it positive?
That I think Jalen Hurts is going to have the best year of his career this year.
I think so too, bro.
And there's a couple reasons why.
Too.
One is because he's got that chip on his shoulder. He's being disrespected, and I love that.
It's absurd. I know. I love it too.
Also, I don't believe Saquon Barkley is going to be able to sustain what he did last year. Meaning, I don't think he's going to get the same number of touches.
Realistic.
And I don't think he's going to go near 2,000 yards. He might, and that would be unbelievable. I don't see it. And I think this year is the year that Jalen has to be a better quarterback, a step better. I'm not saying a whole level better. He's got to be a step better this year. He really
Nick
does.
Wright said the same thing, and it's one of the first times I ever agreed with Nick Wright to an extent. He said, kind of like what you just said, Saquon's not going to have a 2,000-yard season again. No. Hey, if he does, he does. We're wrong. But
I would love nothing more than for him to have a 2,000-yard season. I don't think it makes sense.
He'd be the first running back ever to do it.
Yeah.
But what I think what Nick was saying.
I think he wants to do it.
Well, of course. But I think you're right, though. You don't want to run the guy into the ground, number one.
Right.
And Jalen, I think, is going to throw the ball a bit more to shut some people up. And I think he's capable of making all the throws.
I think he has to. I think that's the evolution. The evolution of this offense is Jalen Hurts getting a step better in the passing game. Because, like last year, and in the year, it's not just last year. Since Jalen Hurts has been in the NFL, he doesn't utilize the third receiver. His third receiver is the tight end.
Yeah.
So the fourth option,
which is fine when you have Dallas or Grant.
The fourth option would be that third receiver would be the fourth option for Jalen.
Right.
He doesn't utilize the fourth option. I think he needs to start not only seeing his first 3 options when they're actually open, which he didn't do a lot last year, and I was super critical on him.
Well, he did hit Dotson early in the Super Bowl, though.
Look, no.
I mean, there's a taste of that.
Playoff Jalen, different.
Well, yeah.
I'm specifically talking about...
Isn't that what you want to?
You're right. I'm specifically talking about in the regular season, there was a stretch of weeks. The Eagles were winning every week.
Yeah.
And there was still a lot of criticism on Jalen, even coming from me, that he wasn't seeing an open A.J. Brown right there in the flat. He wasn't seeing Devontae Smith have that step down the field. He never saw, Dotson.
I think his vision is going to be markedly better.
It has to be a step better.
It's going to be more like 2022 Jalen, who really was he was the MVP runner-up that year?
Yes. If he is just a step better, then it's going to be it's going to be a world of difference on the passing game.
They got Cooper DeJean testing out at safety, and I love what Vic Fangio said.
So I have
like what he said about we're just going to see who's good where. Basically,
he wants to try out
and if
where
this guy,
everybody's at.
If this guy's okay here, we'll have Coop here. It's clear they want him on the field every down, and you should.
Yeah,
he's going to be a part of their base package, but they're only in base 20% of the time anyway.
I have 3 intriguing things just from the beginning of training camp. It just started. So, look.
Yeah, they're just in helmets. They're not even in pads.
Right, right. So there's only so much you can go. But there were three things that stood out to me after the first 24 hours are in the books. And one of them was, yes, Cooper DeJean is in at safety on the base defense. It's not just lip service.
He's
he
athletic,
is
man.
on the field at safety.
It's going to depend on, I think, how good Andrew Makuba actually is.
You're right. I was going to say,
that's really the key
here. I think that the safety position for the Eagles in 2025 is dependent on Makuba being good. It
has to be. And you know what? I don't know. The jury's out. I mean, hey, there have been guys that have come up that we thought were going to be great that were horrible, like Kayvon Wallace.
You're right. Who just signed with the Giants.
Good. He's going to go practice squatter.
Jackson Dart's first touchdown in training camp was a pick six, by the way. Did you see that? That was tremendous.
You know, I'll be honest, I haven't really gotten on to following all the camps yet.
And I think the Giants will actually be better, but
they'll be better, but they're a 7-10 ceiling.
You're right, yeah.
7-10 ceiling.
I got them around then, yeah.
What I'm excited about is the sophomore step back for Jaden Daniels that no one's going to see coming.
Maybe.
No one's going to see it coming.
The thing that's crazy
it happens a lot.
They got him ranked against over Jalen.
It's preposterous.
Every ranking.
It's really preposterous.
It is.
It's kind of funny, actually.
I mean,
it's like a love affair with this kid.
1 year in the league.
I know. That's why I think you're going to see the sophomore slump. It happens to a lot of quarterbacks, even guys that have bounced back.
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud's a great example. Everyone thought coming into last season this kid was going to be,
Super Bowl contender. Texans were contenders.
I thought they were too, and really, they kind of got jobbed against KC in that playoff game.
Of course, KC. What are we talking about
here?
Maybe
you saying what we got jobbed in the Super Bowl in 57.
Yeah.
So I think Jaden Daniels, he's not going to have his main target out there. Probably McLaurin's not reporting right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see what they do. I think they'll
sign him.
The whole Washington hype. I mean, they're a good team. They're going to be competitive. They always give us fits, even if Sam Howell's the quarterback.
They give
old. Us fits.
They're like this old team.
Yeah,
if we're the youngest team, they're the oldest.
They signed Von Miller, right?
Yes.
Who's he? 42?
100 years old. Yeah, is he? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to be 42 soon.
We'll see. There you go. But 42 in football years.
Oh, it's ancient.
Oh my God, the guy might as well be
kind of like
a senior citizen.
35 in baseball years if you're not a pitcher.
Right. Exactly.
Basically.
So. Look.
Football, baby.
The exciting whites could be the starting safety duo. We'll see.
Yo, Reed, what a story Reed Blankenship is.
Here's another thing about Reed Blankenship that I'm not going to say worries me or concerns me. It's just something to keep in the front of your mind a little bit. Is that Reed Blankenship has to be an Iron Man. He has to not get hurt.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt,
he's become super integral.
If he gets hurt,
there's nobody behind
that
him, really.
position is in shambles.
Well, that's where at that point, that's where the fact that they do get pretty good pressure will come into play. But the biggest question that no one is talking about that I've heard yet is your interior defensive line. You know what Jalen Carter is, but what about the depth next to him? The depth next to him, not the starter next to him, the depth next to him, because they rotate those guys. What are you going to get out of the depth on the D-line? That's really a question for me that is important.
Yeah, because, I mean, who you got there?
That's where it starts.
Yeah. You got a Jomo.
You got a Jomo who showed flashes of good play in very minimal snap count last year.
You got Booker, who I like.
Also very minimal snap count. Minimal. These are largely...
But Jomo had a pretty good amount of snaps.
He actually had one of the highest pressure rates
I think he had the highest per snap. I think he had the highest.
But it's a low percentage. It's almost like, a guy's hitting 500, but he's 5 for 10. You know what I mean? Let's see him go 50 for 100.
Jomo did more than 5 for 10 though. He had a lot of snaps.
True.
He looked good.
I'm positive. I have a positive
Booker
outlook.
Booker was really limited.
Yeah, Booker was really limited. But I'm just curious.
Ty Robinson, I'm excited to see.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of these guys in a preseason.
Things. The starter next to Jalen Carter was my second intriguing thing after the first 24 hours. Jordan Davis looks unbelievable.
Oh, how did I forget about Jordan?
The best shape of his life. Well, he's down to 330. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life.
If Jordan Davis can just pick up like a millisecond of speed.
Well, if he's going to, it's got to be this year.
I feel like he can dominate if he wants to.
He looks like he's ready for it.
Yeah, how did I forget about Jordan Davis, of course? I guess it's more about the depth, though, like I was saying.
The depth.
Because
Behind
Jordan Davis
him,
is only going to play 60% of the snaps.
Yeah, he's the starter next to him. And
right.
You know what? He's probably splitting with the
it's
Jomo and Ty Robinson.
It's about the depth, though. And then if somebody, God forbid, if someone goes down, you really are kind of thin at proven D tackles. And that's what happens when you lose a guy like Milton Williams, even though he got overpaid.
You're thin at that
and
spot.
Safety. You're thin up the middle. You're thin up the middle a bit.
Corner, too, because, look,
you
know, people, I keep on hearing, you know, Ringo, look good, Ringo. All right, look, he got
toasted on day one, right?
Toasted, you just said it. A.J. Brown,
it's
right?
A.J. Brown, though.
But then he got toasted against Terrence Marshall.
Yeah, I did hear that.
I mean, cooked.
It's not a good look.
No, Ringo is not a starting corner. I've never had any confidence in him as a starter. I still believe Adoree Jackson is the starter there. I don't love necessarily. I can't even say that yet because I really haven't seen it for myself. But just ideally, I don't love the opposite of Quinyon Mitchell's side of the field.
Well, they've been trying out Coop at outside corner as well.
When it's not base defense, right, which is probably most of the time.
Right. I mean, you're only going to be in your base 25% of the time. But I'm curious, out of this camp, if we're going to see one of these young corners step up that they drafted. This Macmillan kid, what's his name?
Yeah, Mac McWilliams?
Macmillan.
I'm curious to see what he looks like.
Someone can step up. I mean, look, a couple years ago, you got very good production from Cravon LeBlanc. You know what I mean? So who's the next Cravon LeBlanc but at corner?
The reason why I can't even say anything about Mac McWilliams, there were other guys on the board I knew who they were, and they chose Mac McWilliams.
Yeah.
So Mac, there must be something good about him.
I'm just curious if someone's going to step up, or who knows? You know how Howie is, though.
That's why training camp. This preseason is so important. Like last year,
it really is.
You get to see the Mac McWilliams, the Ty Robinsons. You know Ringo. I don't need to see Ringo against third, fourth, and fifth starters or fifth stringers.
No.
I need to see him.
You need to see him
against the premier wide receiver on the other side.
They have to evaluate him that way. Otherwise, they're doing him a disservice.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're not really going to know what they have. Because, you know, when you're going against the Jaden Daniels of the league and the Joe Burrows of the league and Lamar Jacksons, these guys that they're very crafty, they can really victimize a corner like that.
Look at the Cowboys. You got week one. I know everybody's like, Dak, and who cares? But, hey, the Cowboys have two.
That's a tough game.
They got two proven star receivers on that team.
Quinyon's going to follow Lamb, though. Quinyon will follow Lamb. He didn't do that last year, though. They had him on one side, but this year he's going to follow the best receiver. And that's what you should do. That's what Ty Law used to do.
Yes.
That's what these great corners would always do.
But Pickens could be there to victimize Killy Ringo.
That's a key matchup in week one. And, you know, I look at that game, and we're kind of way ahead here evaluating week one. But
I don't love it. I don't love that game week one.
I don't love it either, but I'll tell you why I'm not really that concerned about them dropping it. It's really just because of Jalen in the fourth quarter, man. I feel like in the fourth quarter.
And the defense. I mean, I expect the defense to do.
It might be. It's going to be tight, though. I think it's a tight game late. I think it plays kind of like a playoff game would play. It's going to be kind of like that first week one game against the Packers last season in Brazil. I think it's going to be similar to that.
Yeah.
You're going to have both teams putting up close to 30, I think, in this one. The Birds are just going to. That Cowboys defense is Swiss cheese. You know, they really aren't a good defense. They were one of the worst in football historically last year. They really weren't good. So we'll see. But I think the Birds win the game.
They probably improved a little bit.
But I think the Birds win the game. I just think it's going to be a little tighter, but Jalen's the difference in the fourth quarter. I'm going to say that most weeks. I mean, we have a tough schedule.
You're right.
I think this is like a 12-win season, I think. We kind of said that, I think, when we went through the calendar.
I got him right now on the high side at 12 this time.
It's exciting, man. Football's back. We just won a Super Bowl, and we're back.
We're back
5 months ago.
And I agree with Jordan Mailata because Jordan Mailata, we ain't defending nothing.
No, he said that.
Yeah, we're not nothing.
So did I think it was Landon Dickerson.
Yeah,
I think
and Lane Johnson said it too.
Same kind of thing.
Yep.
Like
they all are saying
it. The 2024 Eagles were great.
Yeah. They're all following the same
Turn the page.
MO.
This is a new team. This is a different season. I just love it because I think, and I heard, I think it was Bill Colarulo was saying this week, that after the 2017 ring, they made a mistake with like putting up banners too many places, and by the middle of the season, they were taking stuff down in the facility to not be reminded they were champions. They're not making that mistake. There's one banner, and that's it.
That's it.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. You're the champs. You don't need to sit there and relive it. Don't live in the past. You got to move forward. And look, I believe this team is capable of repeating. I think they do have the best roster. I thought that last year, the Eagles got very fortunate with injuries being on their side.
Yeah, they did.
The entire year.
It's hard to do that. I mean, Saquon played the whole season.
And Saquon has never played a whole season. I mean, when was Saquon played a whole season? I know it's different. He's got the best O-line. He's not at that horrible, field in MetLife.
I think they're going to spell him a bit more this year. I think you're going to see more like random drives where Saquon is just sitting to drive.
But just like you said, when it gets late in the game, Jalen is an X factor. I also think Saquon.
He is, man. They're closers. They are closers.
The reason why the Eagles have a chance to win on every game of their schedule.
Because they got closers everywhere,
bro. You got Saquon on that team. You got Jalen Hurts as your quarterback.
Even if you're down by 10 in the fourth, you can still win that game.
Yeah, that's
how good they are.
You got a top 2 or 3 or maybe number 1 O-line. You got a top 7 to 10 defense.
You have a 2-time defending Super Bowl champion kicker.
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
2-time champion kicker.
When they showed, when Elliott showed the new ring, by the way, is unbelievable.
It's monstrous.
It's unbelievable.
It's like double the size.
It was like 143 diamonds, one for every point in the postseason or something crazy.
I saw the breakdown of all the meetings and everything.
And then the wings pop out. Yeah. Oh my God.
A guy in Beverly Hills did it actually.
And Jake Elliott showed the ring from 17, and it looks like this tiny little thing.
It's dwarfed.
Like this tiny ring.
Those guys need a third one,
It looked like a varsity ring next to this unbelievable thing.
You got Lane and Jake, and I think now they would be the only 2 guys remaining that have 2 rings.
Yeah.
Lane and Jake.
That's it,
because BG rode off into the sunset.
And hopefully,
well deserved.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get a role with the team.
You want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
So I'm on Instagram, and I see a picture that has Sack 55 BG in it.
Yeah.
But I was on the Vet Alumni Instagram, so I liked it.
Yeah.
And then I went to my Instagram, and BG's profile's missing. So I'm like, why can't I find BG from my profile?
Right.
I go to I have like a bunch of different, lines of business I have profiles for.
I think you told me this, that he blocked you? Is that what you said?
BG blocked me at some point. And I have no idea why.
This is great.
Why would Brandon Graham block me? You know what it might be? I'm a very outspoken guy about my views. I don't really care. I just say what I want. I don't care if people like it, whatever. I think everybody should be like that, whether it's left or right, whatever. Anyway, so maybe he saw one of my comments on like an Action News thing or somewhere I said something it was probably years ago.
It would have to be.
But BG blocked the kid.
Really?
Crazy.
Maybe that was accidental. You think he really...
I heard that he was on a blocking spree a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
I forget where I heard
that.
But
in recent history, he's a Super Bowl hero.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean, he's a hero.
I'm blocked by BG. That's the story.
Well, you couldn't have had anything bad to say about him.
I never said anything bad about Brandon Graham. It was never. There's nothing I said about him that would have caused that.
I don't think I've said anything bad about Brandon Graham. Now it would be officially a decade. I think in like 2015, maybe 2016, I said Brandon Graham's a bust. He never turned out to be what he was supposed to be.
Well, you know what? And at that point, that wasn't a crazy take.
Right.
Because he kind of had a slow start to his Birds career.
But you can't argue that he had a good year, the Super Bowl year, and then he was the Super Bowl hero.
I mean, really, his hand is saved a lot of tears.
When he caused that strip sack, I mean, I ran around, and then it was Derek, what's his name? Who
Barnett.
Yeah, Derek Barnett.
He's on the Texans now, right?
Yeah, and he recovered that fumble, and I just remember running around the room yelling, "We just won the Super Bowl."
And they still almost...
And it wasn't over.
There was still a Hail Mary after that.
But in my mind, it was like the fact that it was even we were there.
Yeah.
At that moment where we get the ball back and we're like up.
Yeah.
It was like we just won the Super Bowl.
Isn't that crazy that was the most combined offensive yards in the history of the league?
It is. Game? It was that was one of the craziest games I've ever seen.
1920, they started playing NFL football. And so at that point, it was 97 seasons of NFL football.
And there were so many, I want to say, just incredible isn't enough of a word.
Well, the Corey Clement touchdown in the back of the end zone.
Otherworldly. Do you know, I bring that up to my father all the time, where I say,
that catch.
That Corey Clement touchdown is one of the most incredible touchdowns I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's perfect. Everything was perfect.
He's not the kind of guy that you expect to make that catch that moment.
That was like Ricky Waters downfield.
It was the most unbelievable catch I've seen in a moment like that. And he, of all people, he makes that catch. In the back of the end zone,
and he had not much of an NFL career.
The Zach Ertz touchdown, which that wouldn't have been a touchdown. And it was a touchdown.
What do you mean?
It looked like Chris Collinsworth initial call, and everyone hated Collinsworth for it, but I kind of agreed in that moment.
Well, no, because there was 3 steps and then it's dead once it hits the goal line.
But
it's a dead ball.
And
you know what the problem was?
I've seen the Eagles not get that kind of call.
I hear you. To me, it wasn't even close. I mean,
I hear you.
Because it wasn't like he was being tackled. He leapt with the ball. And at that point, as soon as the ball crosses the goal line, it's dead.
Dead. Yeah, I know. It was surreal.
And it was his third step. He took the jump with his third step.
Look.
Catch, football move, jump.
We're 8 years removed from this.
Isn't that wild?
And it's still crazy to me, a couple of these plays that happened in that game.
The fourth down on that drive where Foles is being rushed.
Yes.
And he had to complete a 4th and 2 to Ertz. That play right there, that's the biggest play of the game. Because
Zach Ertz was so clutch.
At that point, you're down 33-28.
Yeah. And I know
at that point.
They have the best Eagles quarterback ever debate. And a lot of morons call up the radio and they're like, Nick Foles. And I'm like, dude, Nick Foles had, to his credit,
he's top 5 in the franchise.
He had the greatest individual performance I've ever seen from an Eagles quarterback.
Right.
And
you put that together with that NFC Championship game, and that rivals Jalen's too.
Yes.
When you put them together.
Jalen is just so consistently great.
Man. I know.
When the lights are bright and the stage is huge and the moment is bigger than him, he is just a different breed.
So speaking of him being a different breed, right? Specifically to that, there was something posted by PFF today, just with some numbers from Jalen. I'm sorry, Dan Orlovsky. So in his 2 Super Bowl runs, 7 games in the Super Bowl runs, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, only 1 turnover was the weird fumble in the Super Bowl. 91 first downs, a 71.8 QBR. We went 6-1 and hung 36 points a game. He's one of only 18 QBs in history of the league that have attempted 50 passes in the Super Bowl.
I saw that, yeah.
He's the only one out of those other 17 to complete more than 70% of his passes. So for quarterbacks...
I think it's only Mahomes, right? Mahomes is number 1 and Jalen's number 2,
well,
right?
as far as Mahomes, he's the only one that has a better than 70% completion percentage with more than 50 attempts in the Super Bowl. He's 44 of 60 in the Super Bowl. So of all the quarterbacks that have thrown at least 50 passes in the Super Bowl, so guys that have played at least 2 Super Bowls, he has the best completion percentage of all of them. Now... that includes Joe Montana.
Yeah. Who had nothing but Hall of Famers on his team.
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Who had 1 horrible Super Bowl.
Right.
It's just pretty wild to me. He was working with Paul Hembo on that Dan Orlovsky. Hembo always puts out some great numbers.
Yeah, Hembo's the stat man there.
So, football's back. I'm excited.
And to wrap up the things that intrigue me is my third one. It's actually a 3-1 and a 3-2. I have an A and a B on my intriguing things, and number 3 is Jalix Hunt. I mean, I think this guy could be a star.
Jackpot.
Unbelievable.
Jackpot.
Unbelievable.
Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt are your ends.
Unbelievable. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and you still got Jahad Campbell looking like
he's my 3B. If Hunt is my 3A, Campbell's my 3B because I didn't expect him to be ready for camp. He came out, he was practicing.
Yeah.
They said limited, and a bunch of writers said he looks unlimited to me. So he looked like a stud out there.
I mean, put him next to Zach.
He's ready to start.
There's a lot of athleticism.
Zach Boston, I'm teaching him everything I know. I'm not trying to be the veteran trying to hold back. I'm teaching him everything I know.
They want to win rings, man. They don't want to have one ring party. They want to have 3 ring parties.
And Dean obviously is on the PUP list. Probably won't be ready to start the year.
You know what, though? Nakobe, he had some killer plays. I mean, he won the Jacksonville game.
When Nakobe is healthy, he's a tremendous player.
He won the Jacksonville game.
Yeah,
with that interception.
Right. When he's healthy, he's a tremendous player. It's just keeping him on the field is.
I know.
It's
luckily they have some depth there with Jahad coming. I think he's going to be a player. I mean, they continue to knock it out the park with these draft picks. We'll see though. So the jury's still out on some of them.
St. Trotter came back looking really good too. He's in good shape and he's been good.
Yeah, the defense is young. They're hungry, and they got the right leader.
They do.
That's really the key.
It is.
He's going to put them in the right spot. He's going to use these guys properly, and he's not going to put anybody in a spot that they haven't earned. That's the most important thing.
It is the most important
thing. You're not
going
to be out there if you haven't earned that spot. And that's why I love the fact that Vic Fangio is the general of the defense.
I agree.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait to see what happens, but listen, we gotta turn our attention to the Phils. But before we do that,
we do.
Brought to you by the Fairless Hills Academy of Music. It's time for VetPhact.
This is a VetPhact.
Well, Tek, July 25th, 1995, the Phils would host the Rockies, who were a good team that year. They came in.
They were
46-35. They came in. The Phils were 43-38. It was a 7:35 first pitch. And it was a 6-6 game after 4 innings. There was a lot of action. The Rockies jump out to the 3-0 lead. And the Phils drop 4 in the third, take a 4-3 lead. Then the Rockies drop 3 in the next half inning, take a 6-4 lead. Bottom of the fourth, Phils tie it up at 6. But the Phils would walk it off. In the bottom of the 10th, who do you think had the walk-off, Tek? Our guy, Charlie Hayes.
Charlie Hayes!
The father of Cabrian Hayes.
Yeah.
Which
who
now we know.
Looks just like him.
He does, and I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, something's uncanny here.
Yeah.
So the Phils would get hits from every single player in the starting lineup except for pitcher Jim DeShays. We'll get to Jim in a minute.
Jesus.
Yeah, not good.
No.
But Stocker had a hit, Hayes had a hit, Morandini had a hit, Dutch drove in 2, Greg Jeffries drove in 2, Andy Van Slyke with a multi-hit day, Nails with a multi-hit day, Darren Dalton, his second triple of the season.
There you go.
On this day, you got RBIs again from Jeffries, Dalton, Van Slyke, Morandini, and Hayes with the most important. Hayes, his RBI, that was his 54th on the season at that point.
Wow.
He was touching Bryce Harper zone at that point. The Phils were 8 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They gave the crowd...
that's refreshing.
It is refreshing. They gave the crowd something to cheer about. Check this out. On this Rockies team, he had some great names. Dante Bichette, Andre Scalaraga, Vinny Castilla.
Yes.
Joe Girardi.
Right.
On this team.
Yes.
This is a Rockies team that had World Series expectations. And you know what? With a little bit more pitching, I think they could have won a World Series.
Yep.
But on this particular day, starting pitcher Bill Swift for the Rockies got lit up. 11 hits through 4 innings.
Wow.
6 runs allowed, all earned, only 2 strikeouts. The Rockies would have to use 5 pitchers, but it wouldn't matter because Mike Munoz would blow the game in the 9th. The Phillies had to use 4 pitchers, including Ricky Bo, who threw 2 scoreless innings with 3 Ks, and Heathcliff Slocum gets the W.
Sometimes I forget he was a Philly.
They do. Toby Borland pitched in this game. But starter Jim DeShays also had a really forgettable day. Also just 4 innings, 10 hits, 6 runs. It's funny, each starter had almost identical lines.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't matter because the Phils would get the walk-off win in the bottom of the 10th with 2 outs, Tek. And they defeated the then first-place Rockies 7-6.
Wow. The Phils... My position has not changed.
What are the moves going to be is the big question still. It's the same question.
I just can't believe some of the things I'm reading. And I can't believe some of the things I'm hearing from the fans.
I know.
What the fans are actually willing to do.
It's bad.
The fans are willing to say screw the future. We want October. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, you have to win a World Series now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not trying to win a World Series now, what are we doing?
I don't think you can make a move that guarantees you a World Series.
Almost, man.
What move could you make that guarantees you a World Series?
Well, first off, if you're able to bring in a guy like a Bednar or what's the guy from
Bednar.
What's the guy from the Cleveland?
Clase.
All right, so say you get one of those two, then you got a closer. Then
how you getting them?
Don't forget. Well, that's debatable, but don't forget in the playoffs, you really can do something like this. You're going to go Wheeler, Sanchez, Suarez. In a 7-game series, you really only need those 3 starters in a 7-game series, okay?
Sure.
Then you're going to have Nola back with a fresh arm. He's your first guy out the bullpen. And Luzardo is not going to be a starter.
I got to tell you.
He's another guy out the bullpen.
I would make Nola my 4th starter. In a short series, you're right. 3-pitcher short series, first series.
It depends.
But if you make it to a second series,
okay.
I think I'm not a Nola guy. We know this.
But he's good in the postseason.
I would rather have Nola than Luzardo. I'm out on Luzardo.
Well, Luzardo and Nola, I think they should both, especially because Nola's been sitting and he hasn't built up the arm strength. I think that they should both come out of the pen in the postseason. So if you're doing that,
who's your 4th start? All right, the first series. All that's going to matter is 3 starters because it'll be a short series.
I think you can just roll with 3 starters.
For the first series, it's a shorter series.
Even the NLCS and the World Series, I think you're going to have the days off mixed in because of the TV schedule. Zach will go on 4 days in the postseason. He's trying to win a World Series. I think that you can do that. So if you
Rob Thompson's not going to do that.
Well, Dombrowski said specifically, he spoke those words. He said, look, you only need 3 pitchers, 3 starters in the postseason. He said those words.
I don't believe in Rob Thompson. I think Rob Thompson is an idiot. I think he's a smart baseball guy, sure. But I think his decision-making is idiotic.
Sometimes he's kind of what I would call laissez-faire, which is a French term for
he's
like
a little
laid back.
He's little league Rob. He cares more about having the trust of his guys and looking out for his guys than winning. He cares more about that.
But he knows what he has. He knows that he has a club that come October, I mean, as long as these guys are scoring 4 or 5 runs a game, then they're going to be in every single October game because of the pitching. I still don't necessarily trust Kerkering in a high leverage spot late, but they're going to use him. They have to. Strahm is still going to be solid. Strahm could end up being your 8th inning guy. Say you bring a closer in, he's your 9th inning guy. Then you got a combination of Nola, Luzardo, and Kerkering for 6 and 7 if you should have to do so early. And you got 3 stud starters. And if you can go get one closer at the trade deadline like we're talking about, then that whole schematic works. Then if you add one bat, a legitimate bat, and there's a lot of teams that would be willing to move guys, I'm sure.
You can't, because, look.
You really only need to get a guy that gets on base at the top of your lineup.
Dombrowski said something that I actually agree with. Dombrowski said, you can't go trading people to add to this lineup. You have to add from within. That is smart.
Well, bring Crawford up then. You want to bring Crawford up?
You have to DFA Kepler now. It has to be done.
And just bring up Justin.
Because, first of all, a team with World Series aspirations doesn't have Wes Wilson on the team.
No.
So this organization is a stupid organization. The front office is just
He's a
can't
career
get over
minor
how
leaguer.
moronic.
Well, look,
the organization.
The jury is still out on if they're moronic because we have to see in a week, and it's about a week to go, what they do. You really have to reserve judgment until then.
I need them to DFA or just outright waive Max Kepler.
Well, they're going to try to put him in a package because someone...
Who wants him?
Someone will take a chance on a veteran.
I think Marsh has...
A veteran always has a market.
Marsh reverted back. They could take Marsh too. But I don't think Marsh and Kepler have any real value.
Well, no,
I think
Marsh is
has
going to stay on a team.
I think he's got more value. Yeah, because
he does.
Because they'll live and die with Marsh and Stott. They will live and die with those 2 guys. They are not moving those 2 guys.
Stott's actually heating up a little bit. Stott's heating up a little
Why?
bit.
Because he changed his walk-up song finally? He had one game.
I'm not talking
one
about
game. He had a double and a home
peripherals.
run one game.
He had but the night before,
changed his
he
walk-up.
had a couple. He had a hit the night before, too.
I
mean,
know.
look, this all comes in spurts. You got to look at the spurts for guys, and they just want to hope that enough of them are having a good spurt in October because that's the difference. That's the difference. Look, the Dodgers can come in October and be cold. The Tigers can come in October and be cold.
The
Padres could be cold. It's about who is not cold
right now
in October.
I don't believe in the Phillies right now long term. And the way I look at the Phillies is they're a 500 team to me.
You need a splash move. You need a splash move, Tek, to get you excited again.
A splash move for me, to be quite honest,
you need
would be getting
move.
a reliever or 2 and bringing up Crawford.
Okay.
That's all I need.
All right. You're going to get that.
That's all I need.
You're going to get that.
It'll adjust my belief.
You're going to get
but
that.
It won't fully make me buy in because I believe they're a 500 club. They've been a 500 club since June 1st. They all I heard about going into the All-Star break, all I heard, WIP, from the Devin Caneys of the world, and even Scott Fransky, and I heard Tom McCarthy on the broadcast before the All-Star break say it. I heard this same notion. They need this week. They need this week off. They need this break. They come out of the break with a 6-game homestand against a below-average Angels team, and they go 6 games. And they go 3-3. That's who they are.
That's an Angels team. But that's an Angels team that
who got
actually,
swept by a struggling Mets.
But they're actually in a playoff race still.
They're not making the playoffs.
Well, no, but they're 3 games back, so you're playing hard.
They are a below average team.
But here's the thing: you can't look at like. They played this team and this team's not good. It
doesn't matter.
Because the Pirates just swept the Tigers.
They came out.
The
Tigers might not be for real.
No, they are. My point is every team goes through these. Pitching, I don't think. Every team goes through these struggles.
Here's the thing.
It's what happens.
Here's the thing with the Phillies. They got this much needed week off. All I heard about this much needed week off.
And they took 2 or 3 from a playoff team.
And it
should have been 3
or 3 to a non-playoff team.
That's how it goes.
They went 3-3 at home after a week off. That's who they are.
Every contender does it.
Doesn't matter.
Show me a contender on the standings that doesn't do that. They all do it.
Since June 1st, they are what they are. They're a 500 club.
Right. So,
right now, they're a 500 club.
You're upset.
They had a great April and May. April and May makes them not a 500 club.
I got you. But I'm saying they are a 500
club.
You're upset 5 days before a trade deadline. You have to wait to see what happens at a trade deadline.
I'm not expecting much.
It's like goofy to be this upset before a trade deadline.
I'm not expecting much before this. I'm not. And another thing, I don't think this deadline radically changes my thinking.
Well, it depends.
I just don't.
It depends. You have the best pitching in baseball. You have the best rotation in baseball. When you have pitching, that's what wins in October. So you're going to win 3-2 games in October.
Got to hit.
Right, but you're going to win. You're going to win 2-1 games in October. 3-2 games in October.
Well, I hope so.
It's all pitching.
I hope so.
It's all pitching.
But I look at this team and 3-3 after a week off at home. It's not like they were on the road. 3-3 at home. That's who this team is right now. They are a 500 club at the moment. So I look at them as a team that they'll get to October, but right now they're one and done unless they do something that changes that.
Nah, I don't
that
see
opinion for me.
Not one and done.
I think they're one and done.
The pitching's too good for that, and you're going to be playing. You're going to be playing a team that
don't score.
But you're going to be playing a team that's not nearly as good as
when they do score runs. The pitching implodes, and when the pitching is great, they don't score runs. So
you're going to play like St. Louis. You think that St. Louis is going to really the club as it stands right now is going to sweep a St. Louis?
I don't think they're beating. Look, all right. Let's say they do get out of that first round. Like you say, the pitching, it's a short series. Fine. Let's say they get out of that.
Sure.
I don't got them beating the Brewers, the Cubs, the Dodgers right now. I know.
You mean the same Cubs and Dodgers that they've had their number for the last 2 seasons?
I just don't think that's going to happen.
These are head-to-head situations. These are not.
You
can't look at everything in a vacuum like, oh, well, they lost to the Angels, so they're going to not be.
No, I'm not banking it all on the Angels. I'm looking at 3-3 after a week off and saying at home and saying. That's who they are.
But they have
That's
owned
what this team
the
is.
Dodgers. They have owned the Cubs.
We'll see.
So the two
if that
biggest
continues.
competition in the National League really struggle to beat the Phillies. Regardless of how you look at trends, regardless of how good they've been playing, how bad they've been playing, the Cubs don't play the Phillies well.
The Yankees
and the Dodgers don't play the Phillies well.
The Yankees have been terrible, and I think they take 2 or 3 from the Phillies this weekend.
Now, you got your best 3 starters lined up. You're going Sanchez, Wheeler, Suarez.
Phillies don't score when it matters. That's the thing. They just...
Every week they have at least one big game. Every week.
One big game. They always do that.
But every team that contends is the same. They're all in the same. That's what I'm trying to make you understand.
I hear you. I get it.
You could put on any hat right now. You could put on a Cubs hat.
I only care about what the Phillies are doing.
You could put on a Brewers. Besides, the Brewers are on this wild streak. They'll cool down.
And by the way,
all the teams do this.
Dombrowski had it. This is another thing I don't understand. The David Robertson signing. Everyone loves it. This guy was available.
I don't love it.
I hate it. Why do you think he was still out there? Oh, the Yankee. Everybody wanted him. Nobody. If the Yankees wanted him, he'd be a Yankee. Okay, that's the truth.
Yeah.
The Yankees do not get outbid. They don't. It's not going to happen. The only reason why Soto didn't re-sign with them is because they wouldn't give his family a box. You know what I mean? And the Mets said, "We'll give you a box."
Sure.
So he stayed in New York and took the box with the Mets.
Yeah.
So they don't get outbid typically. Robertson, he's half washed. He's 40 years old. He hasn't played. They had to send him to AAA to rev up. I'm like, yo, listen, they do not have it right now. And everything I'm seeing online in order to get the guys that we're talking, the Class A's, like they're going to have to give up guys that they cannot afford to give up. Stott, I can't see Stott being a long-term guy. Yeah, he might have a couple good games here and there. He's hitting. He's not. He is what he is.
So when you say not afford to give up, afford for what? What do you mean?
Miller. You can't get rid of Miller.
But
Miller's taking over for Stott.
What are you not going to be able to afford then?
Crawford or Painter?
Well,
Crawford,
what I'm saying,
Painter,
here's
Miller.
my point.
I'm willing to give up everybody else. Cabrera, Rincones, Tate.
You're talking about prospects, right?
Yeah.
What's the root of the word prospect?
Doesn't matter.
I'm asking you. Listen,
listen.
Perspective, right? So when someone puts out a perspective of something, it's something that hasn't happened yet.
Doesn't matter. I'm not giving up
How
the
did
top
Doug
3
Drabeck work
prospects
out?
in the system.
Or not Drabeck. It was Drabeck's kid.
Who cares about Kyle Drabeck?
It's a case study.
That's great. I get it. But
study.
in this case, I'm going against that and saying I already know that I don't think Stott is the long-term answer. And this time next year, in August of next year, that'll be Miller time at second base. And I think Crawford should come up immediately, and that'll be Crawford time. I think Painter should come up towards the end of the season so that next year Painter will crack the rotation. Well, these are three guys that are future.
I hear you.
On this team, they have a place.
Here's what I got to say to that, man. Is right now, this is your window this year.
I hear you.
Schwarber's
right
probably
now,
not going to be here. So
right now,
if you can bring in people that are going to maybe...
This isn't a World Series team to me right now.
But I'm saying if you were able to bring in a couple guys for future guys that haven't proven anything, except that they might be good, but you can bring in guys that will help you win a ring this year because you have the best starting rotation.
I'm not giving up those guys for
it depends
Byron
on what's coming
Buxton.
back.
I'm not doing
Buxton. No, forget Buxton.
Well, who? I'm not trading Crawford for Duran, a guy who went like 1 for 11 against us.
Well,
I'm not doing that.
Duran would have been last year. I mean,
or Stephen Kwan. Forget it. I'm not giving up nothing for Stephen Kwan.
A guy that will be under team control for many years, who needs a little bit of work on his defense, but he can get past that. I'm getting there. He's a guy that he hits the hardest balls in the world. He hits balls harder than Trout. O'Neal Cruz. Not since Barry Bonds. Listen,
he's a platoon guy.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's batting .219. He's a platoon guy.
That's because of where he is. He's in Pittsburgh. Not since Barry Bonds.
I'm not giving
listen,
up a top prospect
not
for
since
Cruz.
Barry Bonds
that's
as a guy.
Goofy to give up anything for Cruz.
Can I say this, dude?
Go ahead.
Not since Barry Bonds has a guy had 30 steals and 40 RBIs before the All-Star break as a Pirate. Not since Barry Bonds. The kid he just needs a little bit of coaching.
I'm not giving up nothing for him.
You think he's getting coached right in Pittsburgh?
It doesn't matter. I'm not. It's like a Luis Robert kind of deal for me. I'm not giving up nothing.
It's a synergy thing.
If you want Luis Robert, go get him. But I ain't giving up nothing up for him. If you want Cruz, go get him. I ain't giving up nothing for him.
When you put guys into new situations with different players around them and different coaches, and you're winning, that brings out the reason why those guys were even high prospects to begin with. He's in a dead end place.
Okay, I'll take him. I'm not giving up my top 3 for him.
Sure, I'm not saying you're the one saying that. I'm saying a guy you should target. Now I don't know what you'd have to give up, but he's under team control. He's very young. He would fit in with a core that needs a young boost in the outfield of a guy. He's a power hitter. The kid hits bombs. He just needs a little bit of coaching.
I read a Pittsburgh beat writer say if they're going to give up Cruz, then they want a top prospect ready to play. It's like, that's not happening. That's not you. It's almost hilarious to act as if or pretend as if the Pirates aren't just a farm team for Major League Baseball.
Well, they've always been that.
That's what they are.
1992.
So like this, if I'm giving up something for Cruz, I'm giving up something that doesn't affect me. I'm giving up Cabrera, or Tate, or I'm giving up one of those guys. Well, maybe Abel.
Here's an example for you. Abel.
But I'm not giving up Crawford, Painter, or Miller. It's not happening.
If you go in, you give up Abel, and you give up a guy like Marsh and Stott. Marsh, Stott, and Abel is going to get you O'Neal Cruz.
That's a lot. That's too much for a guy batting .219.
But you can't look at the batting average, Tek.
He's not
you have
doing
to look
it.
at what a guy is going to be.
Look how many RBIs he's got. 20-some RBIs.
I look at it differently. I look at what a guy when he's put on a winner with those types of tools and that type of talent.
It's a what if. It's a what if.
Well, you're same with your guys you want to bring up. They could come up and not be hitters.
But I'm looking at a guy who's at every level that he's ever played in has hit over 300 in Crawford.
You would
he's
hope
a phenom.
So did Jackson Holiday. He came up and he hit 0.99.
Yeah, this isn't. He's not Jackson Holiday, okay? He's not going to be that guy.
Sure, maybe you're right.
Crawford's going to be a good player.
I'm not saying to trade Crawford.
I don't know that Miller's going to.
You're the one saying trade Crawford. I'm not saying to trade Crawford.
I don't know that Miller's going to be a great player. I'm just not willing to trade him for Cruz. I know.
Well, no, I agree with you. I'm saying I don't know
that Painter. By the way, I don't know that Painter's going to be any good.
Nah, I don't. He hasn't really recovered from what he was dealing with.
He has not. You're right. And so I might be willing to part with Painter, not for Cruz.
If you can get a Class A, though, I'm putting one of them guys in. Give me Class
You're right.
A.
Painter and Abel all of a sudden become attractive to me if I can get
that's
star
that's
closer.
all you really need, and you can win a World Series. If you had a star closer, this team can win a World Series. This season, when you look at this season,
and I also
all of these teams are flawed. They're all flawed. The Cubs are young, and they go through streaks. The Dodgers, they're a great team, and they have all these names, but they've gone through some horrible streaks, worse than the Phillies this year. All these teams that are great, and these are better than the Phillies. The Phillies are 500 teams. Sure, okay, since June 1st, but a lot of these other teams, they're not any much better than we are. If you add a real closer,
the Brewers are.
It's all relative. It's temporary. It's Milwaukee. They haven't won anything since 1982, and they didn't even win then.
I hear you, but
but
they're
they
good.
don't. But it's temporary. It's not going to translate into postseason because it never does.
Maybe
it
not.
Never does. My point is, if you add a
they
real
had our
closer,
number this year.
You can beat anybody in the big leagues in a 7-game series with this pitching staff, even if you score 3 runs.
We just haven't gotten lucky with a closer in basically since 2008. We haven't gotten lucky with a closer.
Much, yeah, you're right.
I mean, Papelbon in the bad years, got a ton of saves when it really didn't matter, when this team wasn't good. But, listen, I'll take a closer, okay? But I'll say it again. My, big moves in my mind would be go get one good reliever, whether that's a closer or whatever, and get a solid bullpen arm that's better than, a Seth Johnson. Give me somebody you can put in a game that's not Seth Johnson, okay? Or even Joe Ross, who I don't think is going anywhere.
Well, they got Robertson for that.
Yeah, Robertson's another guy.
So they don't got to use Johnson.
I don't know about Robertson either, but
me neither, man.
But
me neither.
give me a closer, give me a solid.
I think the book is closed on David Robertson in terms of being like an effective game changer.
Me too. I think a decent or a really good closer would be excellent. A solid bullpen arm that might be better than some of the trash we got.
And you can win the World Series this year. That's the truth.
And bringing up Crawford to replace Kepler.
Look, if you bring up Crawford and you get a star closer, then you can win the World Series this year. So in 6 days, we'll know. Yeah. And that's why you got to kind of reserve judgment, because if they do get a guy like a Class A or a Bednar, these are star closers, man.
No, I'll give you that. If they get a Bednar or a Class A,
they can win the World Series this year.
Excited, and I'll be the most excited when they bring up Crawford and get rid of.
And then because then you can bump a Luzardo to the pen, and that's huge because out to pen, a guy throwing 100 in the 7th, right? That's solid. And then you still do have Kerkering and Strahm, and then you'll have the new star closer, and you have the best rotation, arguably outside of 2011, that this franchise has ever had. You got to have guys like Bryce and Schwarber who are going to Turner. They're going to come up in big spots for you in the postseason. They would have to, but you're set up. You're set up at that point.
They're carrying this offense right now. So yeah, it has to be on them.
It's good to see Bryce come around. He's been on fire.
Oh yeah, now he's back. He needed the week off.
Yeah.
He came back and like everybody and Schwarber. Schwarber came back from home run derby and immediately hit a home run.
That was phenomenal, right?
He was still there at home run derby.
How about Schwarber in a home run derby hit off?
Derby off. I don't think they're going to pay Schwarber.
All-Star game derby off.
Right. I hate that, by the way, but it is what it is.
It's All-Star game,
But Schwarber, if I'm Schwarber, because he's already talking about, I'd love to play for my hometown Reds.
Yeah.
So
they're a team on the rise too.
With Schwarber, the way I feel about Schwarber is if they get to the World Series or maybe even the NLCS, but if they get to the World Series and I'm Schwarber, I'm looking at the Phillies like, Give me your best deal and let's go.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to want 4 years, though, because when you look at it, his age, and the fact that Turner and Harper are a similar age, and they have like 6 more years, 7 more years, why don't I get 4 more?
And if they don't get to the NLCS, if it's a repeat of last year, I'm out of here. If I'm Schwarber, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Well, because that would mean that they didn't make a move.
Yeah, I can go get a monster payday and not win somewhere else.
Well, no, the Reds are a team on the rise.
Well,
the
maybe.
Reds next season could be a playoff team.
Playoff, yeah.
They have some pieces.
I don't know that they're a World Series window kind of team.
No, but Nick Lodolo's a pitcher. Talk about a pitcher that has been impressive is Nick Lodolo. Complete game the other night. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about the Reds.
No, but I hear you.
Point being, that's not as unattractive as you would think for a guy like Schwarber.
Right. So I look at
the hometown discount.
I don't think I don't think Schwarber will be back next year. And
they have to, if they want to contend, they have to have him in the lineup.
I agree with you.
You have to. His bat is too intimidating. He's too intimidating. He's too clutch to not be in that lineup. This team really this year, they have to win the World Series this year. This is it.
Yeah, for this core.
This is it.
If for me, I would re-sign Schwarber. I'd say goodbye to Ranger and JT. That's what I would do.
JT, though, hitting .410
I know.
in July.
But, let's
see how he finishes
It's what he does.
Yeah, let's see how he finishes out.
So I would say goodbye to Ranger and JT, and I'd re-sign Schwarber.
Well, Ranger you're going to have to say goodbye to because the market for a lefty starter like that he's going to get a big number.
And he should.
I think he's going to end up with the Yankees.
Probably.
I think that's a place.
I think Ranger.
I could see Suarez.
And he's going to turn into a big star there.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Well, he's already a star.
I know, but when you're the Yankees.
He's a good fit for that organization.
Yeah, I love Ranger. For a minute there, it was like they got to re-sign Ranger and say goodbye. But now I'm like, nah, you got to re-sign Schwarber.
Yeah,
and
you
say
have
goodbye
to.
Ranger
you can't
and JT.
not bring back Schwarber. Next year, you can presumably have Crawford out there, Schwarber if you re-sign him. Pretty much the rest of your core is here.
Yeah, I would try to move Castellanos in the winter.
You probably have to.
I definitely.
He might
would.
be a piece if they can get a star closer. I'll tell you what. Casty might be on the go.
The only thing that stops me from
he's a right-handed bat, though. Yeah. We talked about that.
He's one of the few righties in the lineup. Like
I know. You can't do that. You can't do that.
But yeah, I agree with you. He's a guy I would move.
The star closer is the only way that they can win a World Series this year.
Think about Castellanos. He's a momentum killer in a big moment. And
he's left the second most guys on base in the entire league.
I'm ready for him to go. He's a momentum killer. He's an inning killer.
He's not having a bad year,
though.
He's not having a bad year. He's hitting 275.
That's the dichotomy of Nick Castellanos.
Well, it's because of where he hits in the lineup. He's always coming up with guys on base. So he's left the most on base besides one guy.
And that's something they got to fix next year too. You got to fix who's hitting behind Bryce because you're not serious.
No,
there.
and Bohm. I mean, it's a shame kid cracked a rib. He'll be back for the postseason though.
I actually like the fact that Kemp gets to play every day. I hate to say it. I like Bohm too. But,
I like Kemp a lot.
But I like Kemp. It seems like Kemp's always getting hit with the baseball. I never seen anything like it. He's a magnet for the baseball.
Crazy.
But I like the kid. I think he can play. We'll see what happens next week when we're here. We'll know more.
We sure will.
So that's what matters the most.
It's exciting.
All right. So Prem's picks. Were we off last week?
Yeah, but I got the picks.
We were off last week for
before.
the All-Star break.
Yep.
So we do have the picks. Let's hit Prem's picks.
It's time for Prem's picks.
These games are a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
Prem's MLB picks. All right, so we were off last week. Where were we heading into this week?
Well, heading into this week, I stand at 19-11. I went 2 for 3 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The Dodgers beat the Giants in San Francisco.
That's
the
right.
A's beat the Blue Jays
in
Cali.
I saw that on
I like these anomaly picks.
Yeah, that was a complete.
But the Phils did drop that game against the Padres in San Diego.
Yep.
So I stand at 19-11. And as we enter here, episode 170, Tek.
170.
And here are this week's locks.
Locks.
Got some good ones for you. They all involve good baseball teams. The Dodgers, we talked at length about some of the National League competition. The Dodgers go to Fenway, and I like the Red Sox to get the win at Fenway tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna be a little bit more on fire. They got Brian Bello on the mound. He only has a 3.23 ERA, 74 Ks in 97 innings, a 6-4 record. And, the Dodgers are trotting out this kid, Emmett Sheehan, 4.41, 16 strikeouts in 16 innings, 1-1, 4 games started. Okay, young kid. In Fenway against a pretty good lineup, we know. I think that the Red Sox are going to get some runs early and capitalize on his youth, and then it'll be enough and they'll hold on. And the Dodgers, really, they've been kind of up and down a lot like the Phillies. Give me the Red Sox at home at Fenway after being on the road tonight. Lock. Another road winner for you, Tek. And a couple teams that are locked into a NL wildcard race. The Padres go to St. Louis to play the Cardinals. Now, on the surface, a lot of people might pick the Cardinals. They're at home. They're a 52-win team. But the Padres trotting out Nick Pivetta and his 10-2 record with his 2.81 ERA. I mean, wow, Pivetta, what a renaissance for him.
Yeah.
He is now what we wanted him to be when he was with the Phillies, but he was a little too young then. But then you got a guy I always like to pick against, Miles Mikolas on the mound for the Cardinals with his 5-7 record, his 5.2 ERA, 69 strikeouts in 97 innings, and his 1.30 whip. I think the Padres go out there and just jump all over him, and Pivetta continues to do what he does. I like the Padres to win this one like 6 or 7-2, something like that. Give me the Padres going cross-country, halfway across the country, on the road, in the Lou, against the Cardinals. Lock. Last pick is another good one. Two teams that we don't really like too much because of where they are. You got the Rangers hosting the Braves in Texas. Now, the Rangers are an interesting club. They're 53-50, 2 years removed from a World Series title. Trying out Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, and he's having quite a year. 7-3 with a 1.58 ERA, 94 strikeouts in 91 innings.
One of the better pitchers in baseball.
Really is. 35 years old, but still has his best stuff. And going against a Braves lineup that has been well below average this year for their expectations. 44-57, ho-hum, nothing special. And they're trotting out Joey Wentz onto the mound with his 5.71 in Texas. My only home winner on the week, I got the Rangers over the Braves at Arlington. Lock. So to recap, Tek, we got the Red Sox hosting the first-place Dodgers at Fenway and getting the win. Lock. The Padres flying into St. Louis on City Connect night, where the Cardinals will have their The Lou uniforms on, but it won't matter as the Padres will get the win in St. Louis. Lock. And the Rangers will hold court at home in Texas and beat the struggling Atlanta Braves. Lock. This has been the episode 170 edition of Prem's MLB Picks.
We're there, 170 already.
Good stuff, brother.
So next week we'll know about the Phils, the deadline. We'll know more about Eagles camp. And, we'll see you next week.
Vet Alumni.